Rebecca Khamala. I also go by Kara. I am in the second cohort of the Vivid Synergies residency, and I'm collaborating with LLoyd Lutara, who's the writer, and I am the visual artist.
My name is LLoyd Lutara, and I tell stories. I have told stories ever since I can remember, and that has led me to where I am right now, which is working with Vivid Synergies, doing a residency with them, and working as the resident writer alongside Rebecca Khamala, who is the visual artist.
Working with the writer is very essential in helping articulate certain ideas as a visual artist, and I'm very happy to have LLoyd to work with because he has such a vibrant imagination, and I think that matches really well with my own. So I look forward to the magic that we're going to create together. My love for art comes from a place of storytelling because I grew up around a lot of stories, whether folklore or children's books. I remember my big sister Martha used to tell me a lot of stories, ones that she made up or ones that she had read. And she also taught me how to draw and how to write, so she got me into worlds of imagination, and I remember having a very active imagination as a child, and having watched a lot of TV also just continued to spark that imagination. And I think that's where my love for design came from, because I always loved the colors, the characters, the environments that these fantasy worlds had. And I eventually found myself doing architecture at university, but by the time I was done, I was very depressed and frustrated that I decided to just take a break and go back to the things that gave me life, and that was writing and sketching, just playing around with color.
As much as I am a writer, I like to say that I'm a storyteller because it's stories that I like to tell, and it's stories that I'm drawn to. And the reason I'm drawn to stories in particular is because I am able to see myself in a lot of stories, and I'm able to express myself through a lot of stories. And I often find that stories dictate what form they should take. And so that means sometimes they take the form of plays and live performances, sometimes they take the form of short stories, written prose, sometimes they take the form of films, sometimes they take the form of television. Ever since I was a little boy of 4 years old up to now, I've been telling stories the same way. There's no difference from the way I tell stories now to when I told stories then.
The art that I make now leans more towards product design, but I like calling it designing of environments. Elements of those are inspired from crafts that I picked up in my childhood, like mat making and crocheting. And I always have like a curiosity with a lot of those traditional forms of craft and art, and they end up coming back into a lot of my explorations.
We are looking at loneliness, looking at identity, looking at belonging, and looking at what that means as individuals in a society, seeing how do we define who we are and what we're becoming. And so I'm not saying that I'll have all the answers by the time I end this residency, but I believe that I'll be one step closer to answering those questions for myself, and also helping people answer those questions for themselves as well.
For this project, I'm exploring rest through objects in space on an individual level and on a universal one, picking inspiration from my childhood characters that I loved, from the films that I watched, but also the environment I grew up in, and also the city I was born in, that is Kampala. I look forward to what will come out of it.
I think I love working with Rebecca Khamala, who is the visual artist in residence along myself. She is talented, she is smart, she's engaging, and we have a lot of the same interests, both in terms of art, but also in terms of the subject matter that we're looking to explore. And I feel this has been the perfect time to come together because we're both exploring the same things in our work in this season of our works.